Hey, what's shaking YouTube? Piper Downs back with you guys for a first impression, or actually a tin opening slash first impression. We're gonna do it all. I I've got quite a few blends here that I have ordered in the last couple weeks, or the last week or two, yeah, last week or so. That I've been meaning to get around to, but I've had other stuff that I've had to get, that I hadn't opened. But basically, I was just deciding between these three Englishes, which would be the first that I would smoke here. I'm kind of feeling like a bit of an English, so uh, I was thinking one of the three. And since it's like mid-afternoon, I'm thinking night watching quiet nights. I don't know. I'm thinking I'll probably want to do those later on this evening or something, or do one of them later on this evening. But also, I wanted to point out my little antique Spanish bar, um, repurposed. I mean, it's a bar still. It has plenty of liquor in it, but I have repurposed it as a tobacco type, or as like it just holds my tobaccos. And actually, there's not much in there right now because I have a lot of it in a small whiskey, excuse me, in a small whiskey crate. Um, so I have stuff just absolutely scattered everywhere right now. I'm going to be sending out some packages here in the next day or two. So I've just like pulled a lot of my stuff out to look at it and see what I have for trading or for swapping or whatever. And also down here on the bottom, there's some, sorry about this, guys. On the bottom here, there are some big doors that I store um, a lot of my big jars and stuff that that I'm not going to be smoking anytime soon. Like down there is my St. James and Full Virginia Flake, the majority that is that I have jarred up, and I've just got an assortment of other stuff, some Dunhill Dark Flake, 221B Baker Street, McConnell's Scottish Blend. I've got some Latakia Flake, McConnell's Latakia Flake. I've got some Golden Sliced. And there's a lot of stuff missing out of there too. I've honestly just been, uh, I've just been going through everything so much here lately that, I really, nothing is in its place really. It's quite unorganized right now. But yeah, honestly, this bar right here was my late grandfather's bar. He bought this back in like the 60s or 70s. He was a major in the Air Force, and my mother and her sisters and my grandfather and grandmother, their family, they lived in England for quite a few years. I think 7 years or something like that. They lived in England. They were stationed there for a long time. And my grandfather picked up a lot of cool stuff when he was there. This is a Spanish bar. This is an antique. This is one of the things that he picked up, and this is just a treasured possession. And actually, I can show you a picture of him. He died. Will be 3 years this December. People say I look a lot like him actually, but yeah, he died 3 years ago, and it was a shame. It was quite a loss, but he was a great man, really, really and truly. And I don't know. I just kind of wanted to show you guys the Spanish bar here. And yeah, he was a collector. He collected MGs. This was him when he was an older guy, and I remember going to these shows. He won first place with this green MG, and he had a maroon one that he had restored years ago. He also owned a car tune-up shop for years and years. He was a businessman as well as a retired Air Force major. But this is just an absolute cherished possession right here, and it's got a few little bits of damage, but I want to say it's oak. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but I know that my grandfather told me at one point there was a boar, some kind of a bug in there that was grinding, and you could hear it at night grinding in there. So he had it treated, where they like injected pressure treated it with some chemicals and killed it. But anyway, I just got through digressing like ridiculously. But, it was just something that I thought you guys would be interested. I mean, it really is cool. And actually, everything is exactly how he had it. My grandmother's over there on the other side. Everything is exactly how he had it, except for the tobacco. I took some stuff out of there. But all this stuff is how he had it before he died. So it's very cool. It's very much so cherished, and it's got these really cool street girls bringing in sailors must pay for room in advance, and no liquor served to Indians after sundown, and just funny stuff like that. And just it was like his man bar. So very much so a cherished possession for sure. And he had a lot of valuable. He had good taste in furniture and in stuff. Everything he had was in very good taste. But anyway, I digressed. I wanted to get to this Westminster here and give it a whiff. I'm gonna go ahead and pop it. One thing that I've noticed, some of these Cornell and Deal blends that come, if they're if there's a lot of Virginias in them, man, within a month or two of them actually being produced, I swear to God, they are bulging. Like one of these tins, I forget which one it was. I think it was the Honor Blend, was already bulging. It wasn't but a month or two old. So, you get an idea of how quickly, Virginias ferment and put off those gases. And I also have a tin of Bijou that I got for free from a place. And as they threw it in because I bought some other stuff. But anyway, that Bijou, it's almost a year old. And I'm telling you, it's like ridiculously bulged. And it's a part of Cornell and Deal's Cellar series. It's not something that it says estimated to be at its peak 10 to 15 years. So it's got about 9 to 14 years to go, which isn't too bad. 1 year down, right? And I got it for free. And actually, boom, here it is right here. And I can show you guys what I guess. I don't know if you can see it, but I mean, it's really bulging. And I had another one that was bulging. It seems like the English blends don't ferment like the straight up Virginias. The ones with a lot of Virginias and Perique, man, they bulge quick. Whereas these Virginia or these English blends, they don't do that all that much. But here, go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys. Damn, the sun's must be a cloud or something. But see if I can show you guys this. It's just a freaking beautiful looking tobacco, actually. Just all kinds of colors in there, and I love that. When it's that's a proper English. When you're getting all these different colors and textures, and that's what Englishes are all about, really. In my opinion, they had access to so many good tobaccos that they made these fantastic blends. Dang, it's quite smoky. It's not as loud as some of the English blends that I've messed with, but that smokiness is, I don't know, it's a little bit more faint than I would say for a lot of like big time English blends. It's a little bit more subdued or mellow. I can definitely smell the Orientals. This kind of reminds me of like a standard mixture mellow or EMP. I get those big time Orientals in there. And the Virginia's there a little bit. But man, I think the Orientals the Orientals are very loud with the tin note. More so than they're out front more than the Latakia, I would say. Dang. But it seems a little wet. Tiny bit moist, too moist. Like maybe 5 minutes out here in the, sitting out. And also I wanted to take this opportunity to kind of show you guys how I like to dry out my tobacco. What I'll do is I will spread it out. I want to get as much of it touching air. I want, as much surface area. I want the air to be able to get in there. Because otherwise, if you leave it in a little pile, what you end up with is tobacco on the outside being dry, but all the tobacco underneath the top of the pile and remains wet, or at least somewhat so, and you end up with different moisture contents in the same little pile. Now this is what I'll do. I'll just kind of get it all flattened out and spread out, and then I'll leave that for a little while. I'll leave that for however long, and then basically I'll come back through, and every 2 to 5 minutes I'll come back, and then this is my little test. Now what I'll do is I'll take this is how I know when it's ready. I'll take a pinch and I'll squeeze it together real good, and if it stays in a clump, it's too moist for me. And if it doesn't stay in a clump, because what'll happen is my fingers will pull it apart. Like with this, I'll squish it and drop it, and it just stays into a little nugget. When it's too dry, or when it's dry enough, what will happen is it's not dry enough to stick together, or it's not wet enough to stick together. And what happens is when I pull my fingers apart, it sticks to my fingers and pulls itself apart. You know what I mean? That's how I know when it's ready, when it doesn't stick together. But you have to get it just as it does that. That's why I say 2 to 5 minutes. You kind of want to be on top of it, because you don't want to let it dry out too much. You want it to be just when it stops clumping together when you squeeze it. That right there, I have had excellent success with that. It seems to work really good that way, and I would swear by it. That I would recommend that if you want to know how long it takes to dry tobacco, or if you want to know a method of drying tobacco and checking tobacco, that is my method. And I haven't seen any videos on that or anything. That's in my own experience. I just, through trial and error, when it clumps together, I just feel like it's just too darn wet, and not so good. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and let this dry out, and then I'm gonna pack a bowl, and I'm gonna come back when I'm like halfway through the bowl, and then I'll give you guys some thoughts on it. So anyway, I'll be back here in a sec. Hey guys, Piper Down's back with you. Went ahead and dried that Westminster out and packed up a bowl. And my Butch Choquin Maitra pipe. I don't know what it's called, Mater or something like that. Kind of Sherlock-esque. Anyway, this is a wonderful tobacco, guys. Judging from the first light and the first part of the bowl, just a really, really solid English blend. I'm thinking I like this better than the standard mixture. It's not as dry as the standard mixture. It's got a little bit of a sweetness to it. Sweet nuttiness. And, maybe that's because of the Orientals that they use, or there's more Orientals, because I was really getting a lot of Oriental out of the tin note. Or it could be just some stellar Virginias there in the background contributing that sweetness. That's smooth. Almost reminds me of Balkan Sobrani a bit. Yeah, I'll stick with that. Definitely. It's got a smooth, delicate Balkan Sobrani-esque flavor. Just put my cheek a little bit. I could see this being in my rotation. You know, and I must say, I haven't been smoking hardly any Englishes lately. And the ones I have smoked, I just haven't really been into them. I don't know what it's been. But this one was a good choice, a good surprise. Man, it's got a nice, sweet, full nuttiness. This is definitely a full-bodied. It's got a lot of body. And that sweetness is really nice. It's not like a casing. It's got to be the tobacco. There's got to be some kind of a really sweet Virginia in there or something. Also, I wanted to show you guys this lighter I picked up today. Bought it at a convenience store. I seen him in that guy Stuff and Things Bradley's videos. And I found them on Amazon, and they were kind of expensive, and you had to get them from third-party sellers, so I didn't do it. But today I was in a Circle K picking up a pack of smokes. Lo and behold, like just out of the corner of my eye, I saw these and knew what they were right off the bat. They're called Linse, Linse, and they have like a little swivel head on them. And this is the lighter normally, and then what you do is you can pop this little nozzle up, and then there's 3 settings to it. You can do what is that, a 45? No, that would be 180 degree, right? Or straight line, I don't know. It's like a 40, I don't know. Here's the 90, so that would be a 120 degree. Okay. Yeah, you get the 120 and the 90, and I gotta say, this thing is awesome. It has it's got a great big flame if you want. I mean, it's practically a crack lighter, Jesus. But it's got a great big old flame if you want it, and it also brings down to, it doesn't get too small, but it comes down to a perfect size for a pipe. And I'm so used to the Bic. And I was thinking, how do people not burn the rims of their pipes with Bics and stuff? Like, because that's a problem that I have. Well, I realize now that why people use those old boy lighters and lighters that have a side nozzle or a side-facing nozzle, because it gives you a bit more control over what you're doing, I feel like. Because when you're all flipped over, the flame wants to come up because it's, you're trying to point it down, and it wants to just come up. Whereas this one, it's to the side, so it doesn't curve as, I don't know, it's weird, and it doesn't burn you. Recommend these big time. If you see one, pick one up, They're really kick-ass, man. And it was cheap. It was like $1 something, probably as much as a Bic, if not less. Seems pretty sturdy, and I like the fact that, first of all, it can function as a regular lighter if you want, or you can use it as a pipe. I really like that. And it works great as a pipe lighter. I've been using the crap out of it. I just got it a couple hours ago, and I've already used it a couple times. If you got a real deep bowl like this one, you can get that big old flame. Sweetness, man. Because if the flame's too small, you can't get enough suction down in there, so it ends up burning the outside of your bowl. But anyway, this stuff is awesome. I think this may be in my rotation, guys. Man. Cheap too, man. This stuff wasn't expensive. It was, $9 a tin or so. And I think this is some all-star stuff, man. I'm glad I opened this one today anyway. Like I did say, though, it came a tad moist. Just a tad. I let it dry for 10 minutes, actually. Probably didn't have to. It was a little crispy, but I'm telling you, it is just burning like nobody's business. Just awesome. Man, these are the most satisfying smokes, these kind, where it was perfectly dry. Really complex blend. It's got quite a bit going on. Mm. When I sip on it, it's a little drier. And then when I pull on it hard, all of a sudden I get that sweet nuttiness that comes through like hazelnut or something. It's so good. Mm. This is really good, guys. If you haven't tried this Westminster by GLPs, I would suggest you give it a go, man. If you're an English fan, I must say I'm absolutely impressed with GLPs. That guy blends some darn good blends. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Ooh, whoops. Whew. Whoops-a-daisies, a little bit out of control there. But anyway, I'm really enjoying this and kind of rambling on here. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video anyway. And I hope you guys got some good stuff out of it. And, anyway, hope you guys have a good day, good rest of your day, and hope that you enjoyed the video. But anyway, until next time, Piper Downs, over and out.